Hey everyone, welcome back to Cuddy's Bookshelf. So today is reading wrap-up day for the month of June, and I read 31 books. So I'm going to jump straight into it and try and quickly get through as much of these as possible because I know how I ramble. So I will start with two poetry collections. If you've seen my Greek mythology vlog, you've seen me read these two. They are very much empowering women, about helping women going through hard times, certain situations that women get put in because of men and other people. Yeah, really, really great poetry collections. Really enjoyed them. The first two were down. Other poetry collection, I read Langleaf's September Love. Really enjoyed this. I don't think there's a Langleaf poetry collection that I haven't really enjoyed, and this one is one of my favourites. Next, so I put on my June TBR Romantic Killer Volume 3, but what I didn't know is I hadn't read Volume 2 yet. So I read Volume 2, or I did read it, but I needed like a recap, or not read all of it, something like that anyway. So I did reread Volume 2, and then I haven't yet got round to Volume 3, so that will probably be moving on to next month's TBR, spoiler alert. This is about a girl who is obsessed with her cat, gaming and snacks, and this magical creature comes along and takes all three of those away from her and surrounds her with hot guys wanting her to have a romance. Really enjoying this. Also watching the anime. Really love them both. Sticking with the manga, I also read Kaijo number 8, volume 6. Still really enjoying this manga series. It's about a guy called Kafka, and he has always wanted to be in the armed forces fighting against the Kaijo, but as he was making waves into getting into the armed forces, he started to go through changes himself, and the main theme of it is how can he fight the Kaijo if he's becoming one, and it goes along his story of him changing into one and how he can still help the defense force. Really enjoying that series. Then the next lot of manga I read is 6 volumes of Pokemon Sword and Shield. These are really tiny books, so I mean, it pains me to class them as a book each, but they are. Really loved these. Very nostalgic. I liked that because I play Pokemon Sword and Shield on my Switch. So I liked the Pokemon, like capturing the Pokemon, seeing the Pokemon that is in the game that I have caught, and you know, not to brag. But really love Pokemon manga. It's just a nostalgic throwback for me, and a really easy read and a palate cleanser, and I devoured these. Really loved them. Then I went into, I said on my TBR that if I could get through the first 2 of the Akatar series, like rereading the Akatar series, I would be really happy. I read the whole lot. Once I restarted this series, I could not put it down. I just kept on reading, and I love this series so much. I really want to get another copy of them, like maybe try and save up and get the hardback editions of them, and then next time I do a reread, I would like to annotate one, because I also like to have an edition that's not annotated. If I do certain annotations in certain books, like self-help books, I don't mind, because I will want to read my annotations back anyway. But no, if it's like series like this, if someone comes into my home library or wants to read them, I like to be able to offer them one without my scribbles and small annotations in them. But again, this one's my least favourite, but just because it's Nesta's story and she pisses me off. So, but she does sort of redeem herself, but not enough in my point of view. But yeah, love the Akatar series very much. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I read this, really enjoyed it. Love Bramley. I love his character so much. I love the slow burn with the romance. There's a tiny bit of romance in there. I love the academia side of this. As someone that loves to learn and stuff, it really was up my street. It was very cozy. I loved the magical way of the fairies and how you trick them, or there's just really good book, and I can't wait for that. I have already pre-ordered the second one, and I can't wait for that to come and carry on the story. This is a self-help non-fiction, and it is Asking It Is Given, Learning to Manifest Your Desires. I find this really helpful. It is a book that I think I will go back and do a lot of annotating in, carry around with me. It's got really good strategies and ways to manifest and change the way you think about things, even the smaller things. When you want to put out in the world that you want something, but you also think, so say you was poorly. I'll use one that I can relate to. So say if I was poorly, so I'm like, well, I'm poorly now, but I want to put out in the world that I want to get better. I'm also attaching a negative attachment to that, because I'm saying I am ill. I want to get better, which is referring to me that I am poorly, whereas I need to say I am well, I am healthy, blah 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 blah. Do you get what I mean? So no negativity attached to it. I just found this really interesting. If it's not up your street, I do apologise, but I really enjoyed this, and I will be going back to it, annotating it. It's going to be a very bashed up book by the time I am finished with it. I've read that many books. I've had to use all three of my, so I get these from Illumicrate, and I've used all three that I own, and had to pile a few books at the side because they didn't all fit in them. And I would go with some graphic novels. This is Lore of Olympus Volume 3 and Volume 4. I read this again for my Greek mythology retelling vlog that I did. Really still enjoying these. Really enjoying the slow burn romance between Hades and Persephone. I'm liking this retelling of their story, because, you know, it is a toxic story that people like to romanticize, but this is very much a romanticized version of it. So I'm trying to detach the negativeness away. But as always, I said in that vlog, and I'll say it every time that I read these, love the colour palette of these graphic novels so much. They're very pretty, really easy to read, highly recommend. And I'm looking forward to the next one coming out. I did check, it's out in October, so looking forward to that one coming. I did also read in the Greek mythology retelling vlog, I read Ithaca by Claire North. This, again, I did enjoy the writing style. I thought it sort of off-kiltered me from the start, because I knew it was Penelope and King Assidious's story, mainly Penelope's story, but as told by Hera, the goddess Hera. And that threw me off straight away, because if you've read any Greek mythology, Hera's normally the villain and not very nice to other women. So it was, I wasn't expecting that, because a lot of the retellings are from the woman's perspective, and it shows you what they went through while the men are at like the Battle of Troy and stuff like that. And obviously with the women's ones, telling you their story, like Cersei, it tells you her story from her point of view, how she feels, how she's getting along in life, and the things that she went through. And this is like Penelope's story, but told by Hera, who is normally not very nice to women. So she's like an unreliable narrator in my point of view, and I couldn't get attached. If anything bad happened, to Penelope, or if she's going through certain things, I couldn't feel it because because I'm not seeing it from her eyes. So that was my downfall of this book, but it's still beautifully written, and I still loved being back with the Greek mythology, like goddesses and gods and everything. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. Another Greek mythology retelling was Electra by Jennifer Saint. I love this woman's writing so much. Her retellings are amazing. This was no different. Really, really enjoyed Electra. I liked the messages in there that a mother would do anything for her children, and that not everything is as plain sailing underneath it all. So someone can see something one way, like the mother can see it as in she's defending a child, and then someone else can see it as just murder or hatred, but it's such a shame because they both mean well, but they've got their own, I mean, they've both got points, but yeah, really, really good. Yeah, I'll just do the last Greek mythology book. I read Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. I'm so sorry about the glare on everything. I really, really loved this book. The ending just got me. If you watched my vlog, you know that I was like, I need a minute. I need to sit with this book a minute, because you know something's got to happen at the end for the curse to break. So this is about, I better tell you what it's about, aren't I? So this is about the curse that's placed on Ithaca, where they have to sacrifice 12 girls to Poseidon, and they get marked, and this is told by somebody that gets the mark to say that they're one of the girls that Poseidon wants. And it's a story on how to break this curse, and the thing that has to happen to break the curse, and the thing is really, really sad thing, but you know it's going to happen. But when it does happen, it's still heartbreaking, and then something else happens, and that's heartbreaking. But it all has to happen for the girls, potential future girls, that could be sacrificed to be safe. And I just loved it. Really, really loved it. Highly recommend. Next. Shall I do a negative one? I'll do a negative one. So, Kafka on the Shore by Murakami. So I read Norwegian Wood by Murakami, and I really enjoyed that one. I was a bit iffy on some of the text in it, but I got over it. Really enjoyed the story. This one, however, I could not get over the sexualization of women, the way that Murakami describes certain things. It just gave me the ick, and I could not get over it. I finished it, but really, really didn't want to. I don't know why I didn't just DNF it. The blatant way that he would describe sex and rape and stuff like that, and I was already had the ick because of the way that he was objectifying women before any of this happened, and it just turned my stomach. I really, really didn't like it. It puts me off from reading any more Murakami, because if the rest of his writing is the same, I just don't want to read it, and this is just not one for me. Really did not enjoy it. Icky, ick. I will probably, when I do my next unhaul, that will probably be up there on the top of the list, because no. The next book I want to talk about is The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid. So this is about a girl who lives in this village that's surrounded by this wood, and in the woods are monsters, and everybody in the village has magical powers except for the main protagonist. When the king asks for a sacrifice, she gets put up for the sacrifice, and on the way to go to the king, the band of woodsmen that's come to fetch her got attacked by the monsters in the woods, and it was only her and one remaining woodsman that survived. But little did she know that he is the prince, and they sort of form of an attachment. There's like enemies to lovers vibes in there. There's twists and turns in the book. I did enjoy it. It was a quick read, and it's a very, very pretty edition also. The next book is Lessons in Chemistry. This is a slice of life book. I don't normally like to read slice of life books because I find them quite boring, but this one got so much hype, and I think it was like Waterstone's book of the month or book of the year at one point, and so I had to pick it up. I mean, this edition is absolutely gorgeous. I really, really enjoyed this. So this is about a woman in science. It's set in the 1960s, and obviously women was very much supposed to stay at home, and in certain career aspects they got looked down upon, especially in science. And this is about a woman who is trying to make a name for herself, and she somehow gets a job in doing a cooking show. And I loved the fact that she put science into the cooking and made food with purpose, and I just really, really enjoyed it. I loved the science talk in it. I just really loved the feminine vibes of this book, and I highly recommend, if you do like reading like good feminist women standing up for each other. Really, really good. Read it. The next book is Malevolence 7 by Sebastian de Castell. I really love the humour that Sebastian de Castell brings to his books, like the Merry Band of Men vibes. I really liked seeing Sebastian de Castell's take on mages and the magic system and the point of view of Cade. Really, 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 really enjoyed this book. If you like any of Sebastian de Castell's books, you will really like this. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for another Sebastian de Castell book to come out, because I really do enjoy reading his books. The next book I will talk about is Serpent and the Wings of Night. This book, I really love this book. Really, really, really love this book. There is trials in this book. There is the ending. I physically gasped. Like, I could not believe, like, when the twist happened. If you know, you know. If you've read this, you know what I mean. And I was like, and I just, I literally was like, oh, I can't believe that just happened. And I really love books with trials in. So, and I loved the enemies to lovers trope in this. I love it when enemies have to come together to train, and that whole trope of training together. I thought that this was going to be more of a romance. It is a very slow burn romance. Because when I heard about it, I thought it was just a fantasy romance, so that the romance would be a big part of it. But it is a part of it, but it's not like overbearing or anything. And I just really enjoyed it. I do have the novella, which I did put on the TBR, but then I went and did my Greek mythology retelling vlog, so they're being pushed back a little bit. And so I've got the novella and I've got the second one, but this one, so good. Really, really glad I got to read this, and highly recommend. The next ones are by the same author. They're both by Colleen Hoover. It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us. So I reread It Ends With Us just to refresh my memory, and I know that there's a film coming out of this one, so I really wanted to have it fresh in my mind. And then I went straight into It Starts With Us, which I hadn't read, and I'm glad that because you build up more of a form, like you build up more of an attachment to the characters once you've reread, and then you carry it on. And I really loved like the revelations in this one, and you got to see like Ryle's perspective in this one, and he is such a strong, loving, caring man, and I loved seeing his point of view in this one. I do think in this one Colleen Hoover really handles the hard topics well. I could relate to some of this and a lot, and I just thought she did an amazing job of the subject matter, and I can understand why Lily does certain things that she does in this book, and I just think it was really, really well done. And again, I really, really enjoyed the follow-on and loved to get to see Ryle's perspective a little bit more. And then last but not least, there is Happy Place by Emily Henry. This book, I put this down and automatically wanted to reread it again because it was so good. So I really enjoyed the tropes in this book. There was like the exes trope, the fake dating trope, well, fake relationship trope, the one bed trope in this, and I was just living for all the tropes. I'm like, just gimme, 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 gimme. And I loved the found family aspect of it. Like you can choose your family within your friends, and they can become your family. And I really enjoyed that about it also. And this is my second Emily Henry book. The first one that I read was Book Lovers, and then I read this one, and now I just want more of her books because this was amazing. If you have not read this yet, highly, highly recommend. If you want a really good romance in your life, this one. Read it. But yeah, I think I nailed that. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I've got a lot of books around me right now, and I have had a brilliant reading month. That is all the books that I read in the month of June. I can't believe how well I managed to do. Like, there is a lot of books here, and I am very proud of myself. And I feel like, no, the next person that says to me, why'd you buy loads of books? I'm going to go and watch my June reading wrap up. That's why. Because I read a lot. So, and there's so many books that I'm yet to read. I just get so excited. I'm so excited. There's no better feeling, when you start reading a book and you just know that you're going to love it, and you just want to savour it because you know it's going to be a new favourite. And some of them I've reread for this month, and I still can't wait to reread them again. And when I do my next unhaul, I am going to be quite brutal, try and be quite brutal. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself. I'm going to try and be quite brutal and just keep the books that have me with that feeling. Like obviously with the books that I have read, that if they haven't absolutely gripped me and gave me that happy feeling when I've read them, and you're a reader. Well, I hope you are. Otherwise you're on the wrong channel. And when you just get that feeling with a book, and I've had so many this month, so I feel really lucky to find some really new favourites and to have a chance to reread some of my old favourites. So yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this very quick reading wrap up, because there is so many. I say very quick, it's probably going to be a long video, so I do apologise. And if you're still here, thank you. And yeah, I hope you are well. I hope you're staying safe. I hope that you enjoyed this reading wrap up and you managed to read loads of books in the month of June also. If you've read any of these books that I have read, please comment down below. Let's chat about them, because that's what I'm here for. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more from me, please subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye! Also red, black. Oh, let me sort this mop out. I'm doing well. Let me get my words out. Sugar now. King. Oh, what's his chuffing name now? I'll do. Shall I just do the? The next book I'm going to do is. Oh, let me. My chuffing hair is driving me nuts. Next one. Somebody in the shop. Oh, such a good book too. But they have to sacrifice. They all have. I've already said that. Let me start there again, because that was just crappy. Well, like creature demon-y type murderer things. Monsters. I'll just say monsters. No, she gets sacrificed. That's the word I'm looking for. This was a really popular... Loads of like slap have a drink. The malevolent is this word again. Malevolent 7 by why? Oh, what's the word? I would pick a favourite, but I can't. There's just so many. Yeah, no, can't pick a favourite. That went out the window real quick. I'm gonna try and be quite oh,